Hey everyone, I am Doug Spence, the creator of Worth the Expense, and I appreciate you checking out the channel. So, this first video is going to be a little bit different from what we're going to be doing in the future. I plan on having you on job sites and showing you the jobs and the progress and what we're doing to change people's lives. I feel like at the beginning of my YouTube channel, I want to go back to the beginning of where I had thought about it and how we came up with the name and the story behind it. Um, Obviously, expense is spelt wrong, but my last name is Spence, and I like play on words, and it felt right. Now, I can't take credit for it. My wife is very clever, and she came up with the name, and as soon as she said it, it just stuck. So, what is worth the expense? So, to me, doing something helping someone else in need, it's worth the expense. It's worth the expense out of your pocket to help someone who's in need. Whether it's buying them breakfast or you're at the grocery store and they're just short on change and they can't, cover the rest of their bill. You do it. It's worth the expense. You're at dinner and you see a veteran eating with his wife or eating alone because, his wife's gone now or husband's gone. And you're like, I'm going to cover his meal. It's worth the expense to you. All right, so back to the two stories. One of them happened in October of 2019. I was on a job giving a business owner an estimate, and towards the end of the estimate, this lady had rolled up in a wheelchair and she had knocked on the glass and she needed water. She asked the business owner for some water, and he, told her to go away. Now I understand it's either an image thing or you're slowing down his workers, and I get it. But she just needed a glass of water, and I felt everyone deserves water. So when I had finished up with the estimate, I walked out of my truck and I grabbed one of my 1 liter bottles and said, "Hey, you can have my water." I said, I know it's not cold, but you can have my water." And we talked for 10 or 15 minutes, and I learned her name was Teresa Carter. And she talked my ear off. But I made a friend that day. And I asked her something silly. I said, "Are you going to be around tomorrow?" And she looked me dead in the eye and says, "I don't have anywhere else to go. I don't have a home. I'll be around here somewhere." I said, "All right." I said, "You come back here tomorrow." So we'll be here at 8 o'clock. I sold the job inside, so we'll be here doing the job. I said, "I'm going to bring you breakfast in the morning." She says, "Okay, I'll be here." So the next morning, I go to the shop and I get my guys, and we're driving to the job. And I tell Broderick, I said, "Man, I got to stop and get breakfast." I told Miss Teresa, "I'll get you breakfast today." And man, he just looks at me and goes, "That's real." He saw that I was helping someone that I didn't even know. And he appreciated it. Because just like him, just like Miss Teresa, he's been down on his luck before. I've been down on my luck before. But he saw that I cared. And I didn't do it because I wanted him to care. It just makes me feel good that I'm helping someone in need. It's the selfish part of giving. I want to make Miss Teresa happy because I don't know what else she has going on in life. So we stop at McDonald's and we get a big pancake breakfast, and we show up on the job, and Roger gets started inside, and I say, "Hey, I'm going to run outside and see if I can find Miss Teresa." So I go outside and I'm looking for Miss Teresa. I can't find her. I'm starting to get a little worried. And I'm looking up and down the street, and then wouldn't you know it, she comes rolling right across the street again. So she comes rolling up and she says, "You're a man of your word. Thank you." I handed her breakfast, and so I go to hand her a coffee, and she says, "I don't like coffee." And I said, "Well, look, I got myself a Coke. You can have my Coke." I said, "I'll drink water today. I don't need the Coke anyway." And she thanks me up and down. And we start talking some more, and she appreciates, bringing her breakfast that day. And I appreciate her smile. I wasn't looking for anything in return, but here it is. She gave me something in return. She pulls out this little piece of paper, and it's the ABCs to life. Now, I'll take a picture of this so you can see it. But achieve your every dream, believe in the power within, consider other people's feelings, and it goes on and on and on. And I saved this piece of paper. And she wrote this on October 29th of 2019. And I saved it. Fold it up. I just save it. And it's been on my dresser for 2 years. Now, that's impressive because I'm not great at saving things. I tend to lose things. But that was special to me, and I saved it. So, seeing her smile, I wanted to give out more. I just want to keep, making people happy. So a month later, my wife is bridesmaid dress shopping with her best friend. She's getting married. I drove my wife to the mall, dropped her off with her friends, and they go inside and start shopping. And I know my wife. I have 3 hours to kill. Easy, 3 hours. So I head to the pet store and look at snakes and turtles and iguanas and things I know I'm never going to bring back home, but just killing time, seeing some cool stuff. I leave there and drive down the road, and I go to Best Buy and go inside and start walking around, and I just go to the back and start looking at TVs, and one of the sales guys walks up to me and starts telling me about all the new fancy TVs that are out, and how this one has anti-glare and this one has better color. And I had no intentions of buying a TV that day, but I learned quite a bit. This couple comes in front of me, and the wife is pushing her husband in the wheelchair. Well, of course, just step out of the way and let him by. And they go on shopping for whatever they were doing, and I'm just sitting there talking to the sales guy. Well, about an hour passed by, so I'm about to head back over to the mall, and I decided I'm going to go to the bathroom first. So as I'm coming out of the bathroom, the wife is pushing her husband in the wheelchair. So I hold the door open for him and let him come in. And she looks at me and says, "I don't like when they don't have the family restroom." And I honestly never thought about it before. I've used family restrooms, but I used it for, changing my daughters when they were babies, not for, being in a wheelchair and helping a family member. But this was her obstacle for the day. I mean, she didn't have that restroom to go in there with him, or that opportunity to go in there with him to help him. Now, let me describe this guy to you. Heavier set guy, amputated from the knees down. I let them both in. And wife stops and she goes, I don't like when they don't have the family restroom. I said, I get it. I said, well, you go inside and I'll stand here at the door. She goes, no, if he wanted help, he would have asked me for help. I would know. I said, okay. So instead of rushing out of there, I talked to her, because talking to someone, it helps them. And I just listened to her story about how her husband has had several heart attacks and has had his legs amputated, and how their life is turned upside down and not what they expected at all. So we finished talking, and I don't even know what they were in the store to buy, but I wanted to help them. I told my wife, I was like, I wasn't interested in buying a TV, but I would have bought them a TV had that been their one thing that they needed and wanted, because, what else are you going to do? You got to take care of your husband. Maybe watching TV with him is his go-to thing. And you want to be there for him and watch TV with him. Well, my wife tells me, she says, honey, I know you want to help people and buy them breakfast and buy them a TV, or, you want to help them out, but we don't have the kind of funds for that. She says to me, if you want to help people, you need to do something that you're able to give them labor-wise? She goes, you're an electrician. There's got to be something that they need at their house. And I go, you know what? There probably is. I did some thinking, and I decided I'm going to make a YouTube channel. And this is 2 years ago. This is back before I worked for any YouTubers. These content creators create content that we enjoy watching, and their views fund their next project, their next fun thing that you're going to watch. So the idea behind this is we're going to help people, and everyone can be involved. Now, I already have a few things lined up, and I've actually started my first project and filmed 2 videos for it. But I felt like I wanted to start back at the beginning and explain to you how we came up with the idea, what is worth the expense, and why we're doing it. So I hope you guys understand that with these 2 stories, why I wanted to create this channel and how I plan on turning our views into helping the next person. Being in construction, I have a lot of connections. I have concrete guys, and I have an AC contractor, GCs, drywallers, framers, all kinds of friends. And I've discussed it with a lot of them, and a lot of them are willing to help. So I signed up with Habitat for Humanity, and we started our first project last weekend. We had 9 volunteers come out, and it was a blast, and I can't wait to share that video with you guys. But we're helping, giving back. Now I'll have another separate video that goes into Habitat for Humanity and how that housing system works, and how if you want to be involved, you can be, or even if you're looking at getting one of the homes, the qualifications and the requirements that they have, so you can be funded for these. So this video is a little bit different than what I plan on doing in the future. I plan on having you guys on the job site, helping and seeing the progress that we're making, changing someone's life. Now, I've filmed 2 videos already, and I'll be posting those here shortly. The first one's with 6 of my electricians from my company who came out on a weekend. And then I also had 3 volunteers, one of them being my chiropractor, and he brought 2 people from his church. So it goes to show you that anyone can help volunteer on these builds. They'll take any kind of labor. They had volunteers out there the day we were doing the siding on the house. And I'm sure half of them didn't have any experience swinging a hammer before. Some of them are out there just doing community service hours, but some of them just wanted to go out there and help. So I wanted to share, that side of it too. Habitat for Humanity will have its own video on the side. I will go into detail on that one, how you can get involved and what you can do. The third video I'm going to post is with my daughters on the job site. I decided to be brave and bring my 8-year-old and my 5-year-old daughters out there on the job and have them help me wire up this home. Now, that one's an experience and a half. I won't bring my 5-year-old out there for more than 2 hours next time. So I plan on interviewing the homeowner for the Habitat for Humanity home this weekend coming up. And I'll post that video as soon as I can. But I do appreciate you guys checking out the channel today. Consider subscribing if you guys want to see future content of helping people out. Now, I plan on taking the funds that we do make in the channel and turning them back into helping the next person. I'll go into more details on the Habitat build and how we're doing the funding on that one. This whole video editing thing is new to me, but I've never recorded myself before, but I've recorded myself for the past couple of weeks more than I think I ever have in my life. So, work with me here. I'm getting the hang of it. I've learned background noises are a huge thing. I'll try to keep that generator noise out of it. It's one of the things on the video that are just, it's a nuisance. I have a bloodhound, and she loves to talk. And if you hear some high-pitched squeal, I promise it's not a rusty wheel. It's just my dog trying to talk to somebody. So the best way to explain this is the ripple effect. Okay? We drop one pebble in the water, and it creates a bunch of ripples. And I want to keep dropping these pebbles and keep creating these ripples. These ripples are going to keep going and helping the next person in line. Habitat for Humanity was our first pebble. We dropped it in the water, started making some waves. I called and priced material for my first Habitat for Humanity build with my local supply house that I use for all of our business. And wouldn't you know, someone from Make-A-Wish had called and ask the same salesperson, "Do you know someone who is willing to help with a wish?" He says, "Yes, I got someone for you." And he sent her my way. Now, I asked for permission to share the details on the wish because I did take pictures and talk with the little boy, and we made his wish come true. But they asked me not to share the details on that. And I respect their wishes, and I won't share any details on that. I can say that I did a Make-A-Wish, and I can tell you that I have another one coming up, but I'm not going to go into details about that one. So on top of Make-A-Wish and Habitat for Humanity, I plan on doing some homeowner builds as well. And this is for homeowners that are, living paycheck to paycheck and making ends meet and trying. I like to see people trying. I'm not trying to give out government money here. This is for people who are fighting and living, and they can't make ends meet, and then say insurance comes in and looks at their panel and says, "You have a Federal Pacific or you have a stab lock panel, that's no longer covered." So their only option is to replace the panel. But some people can't afford to replace the panel. Sometimes they have to put it on a credit card, and now you're paying interest on it, or borrow money from someone to pay for this panel replacement. And this isn't something you plan for. This is something that just happens. And I know everyone should have a rainy day fund, but not everyone is able to. I mean, we have 4 kids, and for years we didn't have a rainy day fund. So I understand that struggle, and I want to help those people out. I do want to thank you guys for checking out the channel today. Remember, one small pebble can cause enormous change. We're just here trying to make someone's life better, be involved, share the experience with you guys. We couldn't do this without you, and I appreciate it. Thanks again for checking out Worth the Expense. We'll see you next time.